September 28th, midnight. The monsters have overtaken the city. Somehow, I'm still alive and still podcasting. Starting with the Resident Evil 3 Remake show. So this is me and Richard again doing another recording session, and we had a whole list that we typed up of things that we would like to see in the Resident Evil 3 Remake. The Resident Evil 3 footage we recorded. And we still have some, despite everything that's going on in Raccoon City. Try to cue this up here. Alright. Sorry, my tape player's a little dusty. And on the brink of the Resident Evil 2 remake coming out in a few weeks, we're only a few weeks away, that's what's going to be kind of coinciding with what's going to happen with Resident Evil 3. Are we going to see something that relates to it? We shall see. And that's always the fun part about these shows, is speculation and just talking about what we like to see. That's the best part. So this was a very fun show, and it just made for a really well discussion. Same thing with the specific news that we've talked about in the past with stuff being remade and whether or not it's a good idea. We cover it all. And that was the most recent news that really has come out since recording. In fact, it was right after we did the other show, and we posted that because that was, again, not recorded, so closely to each other. It was a couple months apart. So now everything's pretty much caught up. And after this show, we do have a Resident Evil Final Chapter commentary from me and Richard. And we then will cover Resident Evil 2 at the end of this month. Once we play it, take our time to review it, digest it, think about the certain things that we want to talk about on a podcast review discussion, which is probably what will end up happening. Basically on YouTube, I'll be posting the actual video review and collection update, collection unboxing. We got the Resident Evil board game coming in. That's going to be good to unbox. So we have a couple different things coming in. So I'm very excited to share all that with you. All content coming out this month, next month. There's a lot of stuff that we're going to be covering. It's going to be a busy time because Resident Evil 2 is on the horizon for release finally. And we got some Resident Evil 3 discussion, and that's what we're going to be going into right away. So this was recorded in Raccoon City. I'm in a warehouse right now recording this intro, trying to stay safe out there. I'm looking around, making sure there's no zombies coming for me. I don't think so, but another quick shout out to JJ Jerome for editing this episode of the show, cleaning up the audio, making it sound awesome. Thanks again, man. I really appreciate that. We recorded this one. We were in pretty good condition, so we didn't have to worry too much about it. I'm going to be staying here, though, for a little bit because we do have to, record the rest of the podcast here for the remainder of the Raccoon City trilogy. We got to cover Resident Evil, 2 Remake. We got to cover, Resident Evil 3 again. So we're going to be talking about a couple different things that require me to actually be here in the city. So hopefully, in regards to my travel, it's pretty safe. But I just wanted to get this intro before I launch this up there so everybody can download it on, Spotify, Libsyn, iTunes, YouTube, and everything else that we have going for the show, where everything's posted and you guys can stay linked, stay in tune with everything. But anyway, let's get to our discussion of Resident Evil 3 Remake. You're listening to Let's Talk Resident Evil. What is going on, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Let's Talk Resident Evil. And this time, we're talking about recent news. And we somehow made it on the other side of Raccoon City. This time, we're in a bar. We have some drinks here. There isn't any zombies around. I don't see anybody around. I don't see anything going wrong in this situation. But
no, we're in the safe zone right now.
This is a good, relaxing environment. Okay, I mean, I have some water left. I mean, the resources still haven't gone down that much. I mean,
the lights are still on. The room is kind of orangey, nice and relaxing.
Yeah, it's
walls are made out of wood.
It has a very, very like 70s wallpaper style. I don't know. That's what these bars have. It's just this weird theme. But anyway, we're here and we're talking about Resident Evil 3 news. And when I mean Resident Evil 3 news, I mean they're going to remake this game. This is my favorite game of all time. This is my favorite. And it's getting to a point where this is going to coincide with Resident Evil 2. And we're going to talk about that tonight. And that's going to be the main discussion because the news has been out with Resident Evil 2. We discussed this, and obviously, Richard, welcome back on the show.
Thank you for having me.
And we're going to also have a discussion with Perry coming up later this week as well, and he's going to give his thoughts on the recent news. And we're going to have some. Eventually, we're all going to get together and link up and chat, and maybe we can do that soon, and just have a good discussion about it. But we have been going back and forth with the Resident Evil 2 news, but I always said that I stood up for it in the last episode. We released it, and like I was telling Richard before, it's been a little bit, so we're actually catching up on everything recently. Resident Evil 3, it's getting into this whole reboot, this franchise thing that's getting caught up with all the way to Code Veronica. I think people really want to see it extend that far. We do have some articles to read, and we'll get into that because this is pretty much what stumbled upon it. Richard, Perry, a lot of people tweeted me about it. Obviously, they knew that, hey, it's Resident Evil 3. Here it is. It's coming. Or it's already in development. And considering we all know that a lot of Raccoon City can be used. I mean, it is going to be the RE engine. It is going to have the same elements of 2 as far as gameplay. Like, this doesn't seem far from the truth. The reason being, and this is what kind of makes it a little bit more of a reliable source, because it's from the Reset era and the member and the leaker of all things, Dusk Golem. And apparently he leaked stuff, he or she, I don't know who they actually are, but they leaked a inside source for Resident Evil 7, Not a Hero, and a lot of the DLC and stuff came true, so they have some, it's more of like a reliable source.
Yeah, he's been known to leak accurate information. Accurate
information, and that's actually the thing that people always want is some reliable sources, and that's going to be, until we get an actual trailer. I hope that we get like a teaser in like 2. Like, what if they snuck one in there? What if they're like a little hint? We just see like, I don't know, Jill with like, you just see her. Maybe you see Barry or Brad. I don't know. Like, what if they just threw something in? I feel like they have to if they're going to connect them. We're going to get into this. I don't want to go into it right now. So Capcom is already working on a remake of Resident Evil 3 Nemesis, according to them. And of course, they kind of go on about the how it connects with 2 and 3 and how it takes place 24 hours before and after. But it says right here, this is from Cinema Blend, this link. Capcom is riding a really powerful hype train right now with the remake of Resident Evil 2. The game has been receiving a lot of praise and adoration from the gaming community for how faithful and yet how original the new game seems to be. However, Capcom may not be done, and there could be a Resident Evil 3 remake in the works too. And of course, with all this stuff, hey, you know, until we get something further, this is really exciting news to say that it's already in development because they're already pretty much done. You know, it's gone gold at this point because this was a few days ago. So they've already gone gold with their release, and that's the main stable. Is like they're already on to something else. They have Devil May Cry there's already a demo out for that on the Xbox store. You can download it. So I think it's coming out soon. So like they have a lot of games that they're pumping out that they've finished. So, I mean, they can easily work on Resident Evil 3. And then if they have another Resident Evil installment that's going to follow, 7 or follow whatever you want to do with that, they can just go 2, 3. And then if they want to do something with Code Veronica, they can. They can really just keep it on the remake train for now until they decide on what they want to do for the main series. Because they'll surprise people with like a Resident Evil 8 at some point. It's got to be in a few years.
Yeah,
because it's already been some time. Because Resident Evil 7, it didn't take them that long to make that game. Not something like that. Not something like a VR, a VR depression.
if RE3 Remake is in full development right now, we could see it released next year.
Yeah, I could say maybe this time next year or 2020, but
this is like a repeat of what happened in the 90s, because Resident Evil 2 came out in 98, and then Resident Evil 3 came out 1 year later in 99, and Resident Evil 3 used a lot of the same assets from Resident Evil 2, same engine.
Yeah, so you're right. You're right.
Maybe that's what they're going to do with this. Like maybe it's like they already have RE2 Remake. They already have the engine and most of the assets completed. So maybe we'll be seeing RE3 a lot sooner than we think.
Yeah, and I would guess that it would come out before, because the next consoles are probably going to come out in 2020. They've already confirmed this.
2020?
Mm-hmm. Scarlet and PS5. They're coming out.
Yeah.
So because Sony's skipping E3 this year, they're not going. And that's a big thing. And Scarlet is already on its way. They have the new like Last of Us is not coming out on PS4.
No.
It's not. People have to understand that. That's why they didn't even show up at any. They said, we have nothing to show you. Naughty Dog literally said, like, sorry, guys, but, like, we're still in development. Because they know. So I would say that 3 coming out, next year would make complete sense. Because unless they wanted to wait for the next gen, they could. It depends on, they have the dev kits. Honestly, so it's not, they can just port it over. There's going to be a port. They'll port this over to fucking PS5.
Yeah,
they'll have the double combo pack with Resident Evil 2
for sure.
And you'll be able to play it in 4K, 60 frames,
60 frames per second, Ultra HD remaster.
Yeah, that's coming.
They did the same thing with Last of Us, and because they released Last of Us in 2013, and then PS4 came out later on in 2013. And then they released Last of Us Remastered on PS4 a year later. So maybe that's what they're going to do with Resident Evil 3 Nemesis. They'll release it in early 2020, a year after RE2. And then when PS5 comes out, fall of 2020, they'll release an Ultra HD remaster of RE3 in 2021.
It's going to happen.
Yeah. It's
going to happen. They're going to utilize the technology that's so far, and they can still get it on, so if for example, like if I stream even Resident Evil 2 can still play at 1080-60 on like an Xbox X or a PS4. PS4, again, Xbox X is going to be playing true native 4K, and it's going to be half 4K, like not so much 4K on the PS4. Obviously, it's going to be advertised on the PlayStation, and that's the copy that I have pre-ordered.
You got the PlayStation version?
Yeah, I didn't get the Xbox Collector's Edition, but it depends on what I decide to do. So, but regardless, I'll probably have both versions at one point because I want to be able to play it in 4K.
Yeah.
So I'll probably try to get, the Platinum on PS4 and get the trophies on the Xbox version. That's probably what I'm going to end up doing.
Sure.
But same thing with 3, because 3's I'm going to play the shit out of that. I'm so ready for 2. I think 2 is going to be, an exciting game and a relaunch of some fun into the series. That's been solid because, like, let's put it in perspective, man, real quick, before we get into what we want to see in the Resident Evil 3 remake, which is what we're going to be discussing in this show. So, if we ramble a little bit, please forgive us. But basically, like, when you take the difference between how far we've come with the last few Resident Evils, from 6 and 7, though, both came disappointment. So, like, this is going to be a step in the first Resident Evil game where it may not be a complete. I mean, yeah, we had Revelations, and there were decent games, but I'm talking like main, like, games, and this is a main, like, staple game that we've been waiting for.
This is a fully fledged AAA Resident Evil game.
This is built from the ground up. Like, this is its own game. It's not just a, like, reskin, it's something different.
It's not a budget game.
No. And it took a long time to get this thing fully rolling. And I'm sure that there is a lot of fucking, internal shit. But, you got to do what you got to do. From certain things like that, it takes so much time. And I think this is going to be the time where people, can get back into the series. And then steer it in the right direction. Just do 2, do 3, and then if you want to do Code Veronica, you can, or just bring Code Veronica on another, like, console, because that game doesn't exist on, like, PS4. Besides that crappy PS2 version, and don't tell me that that's a remaster. It's not. It looks really bad. It still looks bad, even through the HD output, but it's not really HD. So what do you think about, going into Resident Evil 3, because you like Resident Evil 3 more than 2, just like me.
I do.
Which is a controversial opinion.
It kind of is. Yeah, most people seem to like Resident Evil 2, but you and me, we like Resident Evil 3 better. I might even like it more than 1. Honestly, like, I don't know. Like, for me, 1 and 3 are pretty equal in terms of how much I like them, because 1 is very nostalgic, and it's the first game. It's original, and it's just like the one that started everything. It's so, like, it's primitive, but it's fun.
Yeah. It's like it's really, I don't know. It does up the ante as far as, like, what they're trying to do, like, as faster paced, more action oriented, but it still had some really good elements of horror because of Nemesis, and keeping that, like, keeping the bulk of what kept it real, having Nemesis there is what's going to be.
I think that's why we like it more than 2, is that it has Nemesis, it has Jill Valentine, it has I don't know, like, it's just like it's more appealing to me. And I always think of rain whenever I think of Resident Evil 3. I don't know if you feel the same way, and I don't know why that is, but for me, Resident Evil 3 has always been like an April video game. Yeah,
it does have that vibe. I always played it fall, and it was like fall, spring, and summer. I would play it all the time. And it always had different vibes. I would always play different versions. So I would play, like, the GameCube version I would play in the summer, and then there would be certain versions I would play in different. So, like, those versions were cool because I would buy it over and over again. I bought it on PC, then I bought it on GameCube, and then
Dreamcast,
and then I bought it. I think I bought it on the PSN store as well. So I had on, like, every kind of platform. And now I have it on the Classic because it's hacked. So I can actually play Director's Cut in 60 hertz because it runs a lot smoother. It's just, man, it's just so crazy. But anyway, it's the way it's supposed to be. That would be cool if they include, like, the original like Resident Evil 2 game with Resident Evil 2 Remake and the original 3 game with, like, that would have been cool if you just have it on there. But I know they have like the license agreement with like Sony. So it's like, I don't know, with those titles, I don't know what they're on other platforms, but like why can't you just put that game on the other discs? Like, because the game's probably,
Or have it be like a secret unlockable.
the game's probably like, I don't know, 600. I know, like, I just ripped Resident Evil 3 today and it was like 600 megabytes. You know,
Yeah,
it's like,
it's nothing.
that's not that much, like, compared to, you know, you have to have like a external 8 terabyte just to install these 4K games and all its updates. You know, you could fit that on there.
Mm-hmm.
You could fit it on there. But yeah, so the Nemesis system is one thing that I wanted to talk about on here.
Sure.
So the Nemesis system, how would this work with an over-the-shoulder POV perspective? Knowing Resident Evil 3, how it's coming from fixed camera angles, and that's what worked towards its advantage. But we're not going to harp on it because, again, we know it's going to be like Resident Evil 2. Unless, you know, what they do is they have fixed camera angles when he's chasing Jill or Carlos or whoever it is, whoever you have to play at that time. So it creates more suspense. But if they do something like that, they could do a dodge system or more of like
An action vibe.
And have a more cinematic approach to when you're running into him. Work it in with like the choices, you know, work it in with the story every time that interaction happens. I don't know, that's how you would do it, because it wouldn't work the same way if you just had it where like he's running up behind you and you don't know where he is, because it would seem a little like clunky, because then you have this fast guy running down the hallway and he's like, you can't see behind you.
Yeah.
Like, it would be like, I guess you could make it suspenseful. Like, again, if you like cut the camera a different way, maybe if you make it kind of more like a movie where you can cut.
That's why fixed camera works for the Nemesis system. It's because you can see where Jill is and you can see where Nemesis is, and then you can quickly see the distance between the two characters close as Nemesis runs across the screen to chase Jill.
Yeah.
And if you do that in a over-the-shoulder perspective, because you're always looking forward, you can't really see that distance closing, and that's what creates tension, is seeing this big monster like run after you. And Evil Within had some, like as an example, Evil Within had some segments where you'd be running away from creatures, and maybe one of them would hit you, and you wouldn't be able to see it until you've been hit.
Yeah.
And then you would keep running. And maybe like there was tension there, but it wasn't as, I don't think it was as well done as it was done in Resident Evil 3. Sometimes we get comments from people saying that we don't like the fixed camera angles. That's not true. Like, I love the fixed cameras, and I like over the shoulder. And, you know, we pretty much explain why fixed camera angles aren't a thing anymore, and whether you like them or not, they're not here anymore. So I don't know where the notion of us not caring about fixed camera came from, but
will they bring it back in Gold Fear?
in Cold Fear. Yeah, watch our previous
2005.
I like that game. I haven't.
I called it an RE4 ripoff. I didn't mean it like that. It was a good game. It wasn't an RE4 ripoff. It was just, it had the style.
It might have been more of a coincidental thing because they came out around the same time, but
yeah, but still,
that's a game you should live stream because I think it fits with your channel very well.
Yeah, I would love to add it on the list. Currently doing Silent Hill 2. I played it today and got in 3 hours into it. It was pretty good.
Yeah.
The audio was a little bit low on the game, but I got to turn it up next time. But it's weird because OBS, like, it actually worked over Streamlabs, so I was very disappointed.
What system are you playing it on?
I'm playing it on an Xbox 360.
The HD collection?
Not the original.
Okay, I gotcha.
I have it on a JTAG, so I'm able to run it. I have had the Restless Nightmare.
Restless Dreams.
Or Dreams. Restless Nightmare.
Silent Hill 2 is a great game.
That should be a name of a movie, a short film. Restless Nightmare.
I'm sure it is. Like, I'm sure
this time
there's some straight to DVD movie with that title. No, you're gonna enjoy Silent Hill 2. It's a great survival horror game that deals a lot with depression, and you probably know what happens in the end, but it's a nice little twist.
I don't remember.
Okay.
So
it's a standalone experience, so it doesn't rely on Silent Hill 1, but
yeah, I really actually enjoyed I did enjoy 1, but it was like a little far-fetched with
like a little kind of cryptic.
I was like and then especially because I didn't scoop up this thing in a jar and I got a bad ending because of it. Like, there's nothing I could have really, like, done to prepare for that. I know, like, there's little things, like, in 2 where you have to keep looking at the letter. You have to keep looking at the picture.
You have to make sure you're taking your health drinks.
You have to make sure you take the health drinks. You have to make sure you don't heal right away. You can heal, but just wait a little bit. And then you have to also make sure that Mary doesn't get hit when you're escorting her, or you don't bump into her. Because if you bump into her, then that can show that you're not like loyal. So that can change like the ending. There's 6 different endings.
Yeah, there's a lot of
from what I understand.
like
so
what's that word? I can't even say.
Intricacies.
Yeah,
They could do that with Resident Evil 3. What if they made it so that there's like different endings? Because what if 2 has different endings? So they can do that with 3. But I mean, honestly though, going back to the whole Nemesis thing, they would have to do something like that or else it would fail. But because you have to still have like Type 2 Nemesis and even like the Type 3, just the end.
Yeah.
Where he's just this glob of mush.
Yeah. I like that. I like how he, over the course of the game, devolves from this highly intelligent monster to a blob.
Stars. I'll give you stars. Motherfucker.
And she kills him with a magnum. Like, it's not
Yeah.
It's not a giant weapon or anything. It's just
Jill doesn't give a fuck.
Nobody does. Yeah, they could make it so that the camera switches in those cases to where, but then they would have to change the controls, and I'm not sure how that would fare with players. Or they could make it to where it's like Uncharted, and there's a little segment in Uncharted 2 when you're running down stairs in the desert, and
yes, I remember that.
There's a Jeep chasing you, and you're like firing your machine gun at the Jeep while you're running towards the screen. So maybe they might do something like that and make the whole, like all the Nemesis chases more action heavy. I honestly don't know what they're going to do. Maybe they'll make it so that the majority of his encounters take place in front of you rather than behind you. So you'll enter a room and he'll be right there, like in your face.
Yeah, like that would be the best way to keep the tension high, because again, that's what makes Resident Evil 3 stand out, in my opinion. And people feel the same way. That's why we feel the same way. And anybody listening that likes Resident Evil 3 as well will feel the same way. And maybe they'll feel that way when they play 2, because how they might work in shit. I mean, this sounds weird because people are going to be like, I watched the gameplay. I know how the cinematic looks or the chasing looks. See, I didn't watch this. Mm-hmm. I didn't watch it, but I was going to say that what if like they incorporate what they do with 2 with how it chases Claire around in the trench, you know? And what if it's like that? But like, I know that video exists right now, and I'm like, I'm not going to watch it.
I don't think I've seen it either.
Yeah, because otherwise, because people are be like, oh, well, they could, you know, anybody listening to it, if you've seen it, awesome. Because I'm going to wait though. And then when I see it, I'll talk about it. We'll report back on it. When we do the Resident Evil 3 show, maybe by then we'll see, we'll play it. But it's going to be similar to that, but the constant chase is important, and how you're going to still use the different ways of choosing which direction you want to go, how you want to go about the battle. If you can fight him, there are obviously going to be different ways you can still stop him. I'm going to go with, you could still outrun him and just try to dodge his arm depending on what he does. They might just be like a lot of button, like quick time events, I would imagine. Or like if he tries to like tentacle whip you, you can like at least dodge it.
Yeah, because
somewhat.
Revelations had a dodge system.
Yeah. They can do so. They could work that in.
Do you remember in the original Dead Space, uh, there was an enemy called the Divider?
I do. I do remember that.
It's tall, like lanky necromorph, and it would scream at you, and it would run at you. So maybe it might be similar to that, where you just see him, and he warns you that he's gonna run after you, and then he does. Basically, like the Divider would scream at you and then run at you. So maybe that's what they're going to do with Nemesis in RE3 Remake.
That would be cool if they had like the rocket launcher in place where, you can still take it out, because like usually you can't really shoot at it. Like you can shoot and make him miss, but you can't like do damage to it. If you can aim like over the shoulder and like shoot at the barrel and shoot a rocket back at him, you can like, make it blow up and he'll get like set back. That would be cool, because then you'd be able to have perspective on it. Like you can actually aim at him, because normally you got to literally dodge his rockets. You have to turn around, do the quick turn, and then run, and then make sure he misses. And he can, that's the easiest way to beat him, unless you're just going to be getting hit up by rockets. Like the clock tower fight, that's what he does. So imagine a clock tower fight, and he has the rocket launcher. You can now shoot at that rocket launcher if Carlos doesn't blow it up, if they still have that little option. But that would be a lot easier. Maybe that option wouldn't have to exist if you can just shoot it at any time and shoot it up. I don't know. That's just something that I always think about, because you have to incorporate the new style of gameplay and give him a weakness. He won't always have the rocket launcher. And please don't give him a Gatling gun. Please don't give him a Gatling gun.
What would you do if Alice was in the game?
Capcom, please don't give him a Gatling gun. That's just overkill. I'm sorry, because they put it, see, that's what bothers me. They gave him that in Operation Raccoon City, and then they used that on the shitty novel reissue. Yeah. It's not right. It's not correct. No. Does he have a Gatling gun in the novel?
No, I don't think so.
Okay. So that just makes
I think that was just in the game, that was in the movie Apocalypse, and it was in Raccoon City.
Yeah, so just don't give him a Gatling gun, Capcom, okay? That's just what I'm wishing. Mm-hmm. But a lot of things that they can add into this remake that will make this thing pretty cool is more character development between Carlos, Nikolai, in the conclusions, them and the UBCS in general, just any encounters with the USS as well, that could potentially happen throughout the story.
That's something we haven't seen in the original.
We haven't even seen that at all.
We know that the USS and the UBCS are two different groups. So, like, what happens when they, do they get into conflict with each other if they...
And they're all being left, that would be cool if we get more of what Apocalypse did, where they showed, them, kind of being left alone. Mm-hmm. That would have been cool if we saw that in the game. I can't believe I'm saying this. That would be cool if we saw that in the game, because that element was kind of, cool, where they're oh, they're abandoning us, they're leaving us. We didn't see that, basically. We didn't really see that. Nikolai left, sure, he kind of, faked his own, death or whatever for that little short period of time. He thought he died, and then he comes back in the graveyard. But I don't know. That would be interesting. That'd be very interesting to see what they would do with that.
Mm-hmm. Agreed.
Because they can go into, he goes with Carlos on top of the rooftop, and then he goes down, and then that's when Mikhail gets wrecked. He gets injured in the process of transportation. Then he can't move. And I liked how they did it in the novel, where it was he was plotting the whole fucking time to just kill off the whole team. Mm. So that's that would be cool if they work that in somehow, because that's just me being, a fanboy of the game, but that would be pretty cool to see, because Nikolai, just make him more grim and fucked up, because he's just in it for himself. So he doesn't give a shit about his team. but he's going to lead them in the certain direction, as if like Wesker kind of led, Stars up to a certain point to where he could do his job. Nikolai's just inching his way through the process of rescuing quote unquote civilians when he's just going to be killing them off, and it doesn't even matter to him because he doesn't give a shit. He'll just kill them.
Yeah.
Because that's what he was doing. He was literally killing everyone, and including his team. And then he did that classic, wave your gun in front of Jill. You could kill her right there, but you don't kill her kind of thing. And then he runs away because the gravedigger is going to kill you. I guess that's what he's implying.
We could see a scene where he knows about the gravedigger.
Yeah, like how he knows about another mutant.
Yeah,
and just different things with that. That would be cool to see. The cool graveyard scene with the zombies coming up. If they made that would look incredible with the gravedigger. That would look nuts. So much potential. Even the clock tower. We got to talk about the clock tower. If they do the clock tower, and again, working in some of the Raccoon City streets of Resident Evil 2 as well, because we're not going to leave that out. But the clock tower is, imagine what that's going to be like. We're going to see the police station coming up here in the Resident Evil 2 remake. So they can do so much with this, because obviously if we see the police station, we're going to see what it's going to look like in 3. We're going to see those familiar places. We're going to see the office. We're going to see the main lobby. Maybe we'll be able to go into more rooms that like not so much stuff is like boarded up, or maybe stuff will be boarded up, and maybe we can like tear down the barricades. That would be cool. If stuff's boarded up, why did stuff get boarded up? Or that would take out, because like the way things are kind of like set up, they even talked about it in like the Wacky Funlands and like the Prima official guide, the perfect guide. They talk about how it's inconsistent with like where things are placed it just doesn't make too much sense in the timeline. And it's pretty cool. It's pretty neat.
How would you feel about them changing the timeline slightly and making sure that RE3 takes place completely afterwards, after 2?
That's fine, as long as it just like, it just fits in nicely at the end of the Raccoon City trilogy, like the tale of, both leading into it. Like, they escaped at one point, and then Jill and Carlos and potentially Barry, if they write him in there as like an actual potential person that you're going to be running into. Absolutely. Or they might do the different endings again. If they do different endings with 2, then I can suspect a different ending scenario with 3. 100%. I would love to see that. And same thing with the whole Dead Factory chapter. Obviously the hospital segue, they should still keep the whole like Jill getting infected. That would be cool. Keeping the because some people don't like the part when you're Carlos, but maybe they can like work that into like something else, or they can do, because the hunters are going to be a pain in the ass. I already know they're going to make them so, because think of it this way. We, as of now, we don't get hunters in Resident Evil 2.
No, but we got liquors.
But we get liquors. So this will be the first time we're seeing a upgraded hunters from the first remake in 2002. So that's going to be very interesting.
They were in Revelations, but I don't know if you want to count that.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. Just kind of forgot about that.
Exactly.
I'm not saying I hate Revelations. I like Revelations.
you're gonna get people who come in like,
why are you hating Revelations? No. I like it. In fact, I should replay the whole thing again.
You've never done a Let's Play on it.
You are correct, sir.
Okay.
But I will.
Okay.
I will. Because it's actually a really good spin-off, and I actually will get it on the Switch and play it.
Yeah.
It's like one of those games where I would, it's a really fun game. It moves fluently. For a game like that that's been on like every console since 3DS, it's like, it runs really good on the Switch.
Mm-hmm.
Even on the tablet, it runs in like 60 frames. It runs really smooth.
Did you get a Switch?
Hopefully for Christmas.
Gotcha.
But yeah, so I would hope so, going into the like ending parts of how they kind of wrap it in with the date and the frequent update of like, hey, this is going to be taking place after 2, if they do what you said, like completely after, without like the different time thing. different time span. But there is that time where she does get knocked out. So how would they work that in with it, with her getting infected? But the whole dead factory would look amazing. Just having brain suckers and that maybe that Type 2 Nemesis fight in the factory. You got to turn on the valves and burn him with the acid. So the dramatic ending of Resident Evil 3, that is one of my favorite endings ever, is going to be showcased in this remake. And how they do it would be very interesting. Again, we're just talking about like endings of Resident Evil 2. How they do this, it would be awesome either way, whether it's just Jill and Carlos, or if they do Jill, Carlos, Barry. Just the ending fight with Nemesis and, you know, the radar detecting, and maybe there'll actually be a close time. So, you know, you do have to get out of there in a certain amount of time because the clock will tick, and maybe depending on how late you are, you can, you know, run out of time. That would be cool.
It'd be like, I thought RE5 had a pretty good ending when you're escaping the ship and everything's on fire.
Oh, yeah.
I know RE3 is different than RE5, but RE5's ending was like 10 years ago. So, like, imagine what they can do today with the new engine. You know, the new orchestra.
Oh, yeah. I can only imagine.
New, like, particle effects, new fire effects, explosion.
I can only imagine.
Buildings, like, crumbling to dust and ash.
I can just imagine, like, the city streets and the lighting and just the glass on the fucking street and the dead bodies, the cars toppled over, just all of that. And of course, with the ending of how everything kind of comes to an end when the whole explosion and how dramatic it is, that would be amazing if we even got, like, you know, like, where was Leon and Claire when that happened? What if it cuts to them and they see it? Like, we see their reaction, you know, and we're like, fuck, like, everyone, you see everybody's reaction. It ties it all together. That would be awesome.
Agreed.
Make it about the characters, expand on them. Same thing with Carlos, you know? You don't have to expand too much on Carlos, but, like, you know, make it more like you see after the aftermath. You see what they lost their home. Like, they literally lost their home and they lost family, friends. And it's such a tragic event.
Maybe you could, like, delve into Barry's family a little bit.
Yeah. And like, why is he there? If he's there, like, why is he just, because like with the 3, he just shows up. He's like, yeah. Like, it's just like, Barry, what the fuck? Like, I mean, but he's Barry though. So like, he is going to, you know, he's just going to be there because he's Barry. He's just Barry.
It's like, where's your wife and child?
Yeah.
Like this whole city just exploded.
I got a helicopter.
I see you're in a helicopter, Barry, but where's your family?
Like, you can imagine he just like saves them instead of his family. I gotta save my friends.
You left them to die.
It's like, yeah, that's great. Yeah, like, give him a reason why he's there. You know, bring him in. For shit, bring him into the game. Because what if he comes back, you just run into him, like you're getting like cornered by like a hunter.
Yeah.
Barry just comes out. Jill fucking helps you.
Here's a lockpick.
Jill, take this lockpick. Like, you need it. I can imagine Barry just shooting Nemesis. Oh, what if it was like what if they did the ending?
Imagine him like meeting Nemesis.
Well, imagine it on a rooftop.
What the hell is that?
Whoa, this hall's dangerous. Imagine them on the like on the top of the rooftop, and they go and fight him, and Barry has to shoot him with like the Magnum, and they just turn it into like a whole all out like battle like the first remake, where it's like on a rooftop. It's Nemesis, it's Jill, Barry, and then Carlos can actually come in and fight, and you guys all have to like actually take him out together, and then you turn on like the battery thing and you have to kill it. That would be cool. Or they can make it so like you do the battery thing, but then you have to like finish him off, like, and you do have to like fight him instead of just like a Magnum. It's like a expanded fight. I don't know. I'm just like throwing out ideas and seeing what sounds good, but
yeah,
totally. It's just exciting. It's an exciting thing. It really is. It really is getting me excited, and it's even getting me more excited for 2, because that means we're just going to get a hit after hit, and I'm totally down for that.
Well, it makes you like wonder, like, what would happen if Carlos met Nikolai? Like, imagine the conversation.
Yeah, I
they would
know.
have, like, our nemesis smacks Barry around a little bit, you know, like him and the Tyrant in the first game. So it's like, so they could really do anything.
Yeah, like Nemesis and Tyrant, like fucking brawl. They fight. No, I'm kidding.
I'd like to see that actually.
Yeah, that'd actually be pretty.
I would like to
fucking-
see that. Like,
They just battle it out, man.
have a classic Tyrant go up against Nemesis.
But with Nemesis only, it would have to get in his way, like because Nemesis is only like
Yeah,
going
like-
after Stars members. So
But what if like Jill and Barry and Carlos are trying to escape, and they're in a lab and they see a capsule of a Tyrant? It was like a secret Tyrant, you know,
Yeah.
an extra one they were working on. So they remove the capsule and they wake it up, and it gets out, and Nemesis walks into the room, and the Tyrant, like the first Tyrant, is stupid because it doesn't understand anything. It just wants to kill. So it looks at Nemesis and starts hitting him. And then Nemesis would be like, "Well, now you're getting in my way." So it'd be a cool fight.
that would be actually fucking awesome. Because it would just be an epic finale to the trilogy, you know, a send off. Because
Yeah,
you know,
you could have both
Make it-
hunters and lickers.
yeah, like make it more than just a, you know, quote unquote spin off that some people would regard the game as.
Yeah, like make this like a main installment. It's gonna be a main installment, but like, you know, another thing they never deal with is they never really delve into like bioweapons fighting each other. Like, what would happen if a licker met a brain sucker? You know, like, because lickers got exposed brains. Like, is the brain sucker a natural predator of the licker? We don't know. Like, we don't know how these things cooperated with each other.
That's true.
We've seen, like, I think in the original RE3, a zombie is walking towards you, and one of the hunters chops its head off. I could be wrong on that. Maybe it's not RE3. Maybe it's some other Resident Evil game. But
Wait, the zombie gets its head chopped off. That's from 3, the hospital
okay, so like,
with Carlos.
give me more of that. Like, give me like bioweapons fighting each other, and then that lets you, maybe you're getting chased by one, and you lure it to another one, and that's like another strategy for you to get
Yeah,
away or
that would be awesome.
to deal with it without wasting your ammo.
Yeah, like just make it more in depth.
Yeah. Do what you couldn't do back in the day.
And that's also expanding on the art style too, which we're still kind of talking about that with just everything, and they're still bringing back, you know, the environment and objects to interact with, the explosive barrels on the wall, stuff like that would be cool. And of course, we can't forget about the unlockables. The unlockables would be cool. Bringing that back. The boutique key. I can't speak.
Boutique.
Key.
Boutique.
Boutique.
Boutique key.
You say boutique. I say boutique.
Okay.
No, I'm just...
Okay. Like, that's fine. I mean, you can do you, and I'll do me. It's okay. It's okay, Anthony.
I'm just fucking with you.
It's okay.
It's okay.
I would like to see a Regina costume.
The Regina costume.
Yeah. I want to see Regina, classic tube top mini skirt, police Jill, business Jill.
Business Bill.
I want to see costumes for Carlos. Maybe you can dress a Nemesis up.
Oh yeah, give Nemi a whole costume.
Give him like a sombrero.
It's like, I mean, give me a Regina costume, because then they're gonna announce that you can play the Dino Crisis remake demo when this one comes out. What if they did that? What
would you do if like they had like dinosaurs in the mercenaries mode, like as a hidden unlockable?
Oh no, that would be crazy.
It's like you do something really specific, and then
It's an Easter egg, and it's just
Like-
be like, it's coming. We're doing it.
Yeah.
We're
like
doing the remake.
Raptors come out of the alleys and
Talked about it last show, but the Dino Crisis remake. If you have to do 3, just take that and then just have Dino Crisis. Just do it. Do it. You can redo it and bring it back. Bring it back. After you do 3, do Dino Crisis.
those Jurassic World movies make so much money. I'm surprised they haven't made a dinosaur game yet.
I'm really surprised. Well, they did come out with a Jurassic Park game. I saw that. We sold that in stores. It just said Jurassic World. It was based off the movie that came out.
Is this the theme park game where you can make your own park?
No. Jurassic, what it was like Jurassic World.
I know that there's Jurassic World Evolution.
There's Jurassic World Revolution. No. Evolution.
That's a lie.
It's
That's a lie.
evolution.
You're lying to me.
It's evolution. You're right.
Full of it.
You're right. It's evolution. It's evolution. That's the one. It's like really shitty, apparently.
Really? I've heard I thought it was IGN that gave it a bad review, but everyone else thought it was pretty good. Hold on. I'm looking this up on Metacritic.
It's the shitty one off of Fallen Kingdom.
This will give us the answers. Okay, so it has a 76. The Xbox One version.
Fuck it.
And that's like a combination of every critic review who reviewed it. So that's the true average right there. 76. It was good. Bitch.
Well, it's bad. It's going to be a bad game, and I hope that it...
I'm going to play it one day because I like dinos. And we need more dinosaur games.
What would you think about a possible Hunk appearance?
I would like to see Hunk.
Because that could happen. If they tie 2 and 3 together like we think they are, that would be really cool.
I would like to see him have like an actual role in the story. Like give him something to do. Don't just throw him in as a bonus character or an Easter egg or something. Like what can he do? Like maybe he has like conversations with Nikolai. Maybe the two like butt heads with each other a lot. Maybe like they're competing with each other and then like they're always trying to outsmart the other guy. And then by the end of the game, like I know in the original you blow Nikolai up with the rocket launcher.
The helicopter. You gotta get the key card and grab the fucking rocket launcher in the locker.
Yeah. But what if in this game, in the remake, it's so that like Nikolai thinks he's gonna like win, but he does something that leads to his own death, but he realizes at the last second that it was something that Hunk did. Just like as a little FU to Nikolai.
Yeah, that would be
like he just like I don't know, he does something and then it's like, oh shit, like that asshole, like he got me. And then bam, he dies.
That'd be incredible. They would just be able to expand so much on these characters that never got, they got, bits and pieces, stuff, from files and whatnot, but now we get to see a true connection between 2 and 3 and a consistent intertwined story. And hopefully we get those little interactions like that. That's what we hope for, because this is a universe we care so much about, and it's so important. And that leads to another very important thing that made Resident Evil 3 what it is, and that was the new live selection system. And that's something that can drastically change events, and that's something that I don't want to see that go away. But if they did take it out, that's something that, I don't know. I still like the whole idea of you can kind of control that, but they might make it one ending. So then it doesn't really matter. And then those choices may not make that much of a difference. I mean, to be fair, a lot of the ones that are in the game, not a lot of them make a difference. Only the bridge. And that's about it. The bridge, and then you jump off, and then you have to climb back in through the sewer, or you can go across and go through the double doors. And then and then just that changes the ending, whether or not Barry is even in the picture. Just that decision alone, which is kind of crazy. So like they might change stuff like that.
Well, like we talked about maybe Jill, like in these quick live selection moments, maybe Jill jumps off a bridge
Yeah.
and she hurts her leg or whatever, and then she has to get a bandage, and then for the rest of the game, she wears that bandage. Or like maybe she gets like a scar somewhere, and you can see like these little details that stay with you for the rest of the game. But like, what if you do enough of these certain decisions to where it does alter the ending? And we were talking about Silent Hill 2 a little bit ago, but you know, what if you jump off a bridge too many? You know?
Yeah, yeah.
Then maybe these choices stack up, and by the time you get to the ending, you don't make it out to the helicopter in time and you get trapped in the explosion. So it'll be cool to see if they bring back this new live selection system, and they could add all these different choices in which, you know, they lead to different endings, and maybe they have like a dozen different choices, and you can see a dozen different things, and then that will add to the replay value. One of the things I like about the old Resident Evil games is that there's always something new to discover. Like in Remake, for example, like one day I found out, oh, they can't, like the zombies don't bite you on the stairs. So then you can use that to your advantage. So I like little things like that where you're like constantly learning and adjusting your strategy.
Yeah, and you can kind of like understand, okay, now this is going to be here, this person's going to be here. And you can eventually understand like the pattern of just like how like in Resident Evil, the original, when you run up when you're going across where you push the statue and you go across that way and you have to go in that little corridor that leads to the stairs down to the safe room. Mm. The zombies in there just spit acid. They never grab you, but they'll keep spitting acid. Mm-hmm. They don't grab you, though. They just spit acid there. For some reason, that's just what they do in that particular room. So, you know, you can easily run through it. Like little stuff like that. You know, of course, they can bring back, you know, the brain suckers and like we talked about before and all that stuff. But here's the main thing, though, that I would love to see redone, but done the same way. And that's, we didn't talk about this yet. The gunpowder. It plays such an important role in Resident Evil 3. And it again is another reason why it makes it one of my favorites. Is I love this gunpowder system. They got to bring this thing back, man.
And they have to make it like how it was.
Yeah, have the whole list of combinations. I want to see the strategy guide and the whole fucking list.
A lot of crafting systems in games nowadays is you find XYZ, and then you hold the R2 button, and you see a little meter fill up a square. And then you've created a new item. What I like about Resident Evil 3 is like you just go over one item and you combine it with another. And then bam, you get different combinations of ammo. A little bit different, but I'd rather see like the classic crafting system return rather than like a new take on it.
Yeah, and have different ones that, you know, different ways that you can again have like different portions of ammo for the weapons that you get. They can still have the randomizer where you can get a, you know, grenade launcher or a magnum, or you can get a, you know, the magnum might be in the room with the fuse, you know, to still like have that intertwine, because that would be really cool, because then they can lay out the amount of ammo they're giving you. So they'll spread it out a little bit more, where you can like find it. And then you play hard mode, then you won't see as much. Because, see, the thing is, when you play hard mode of Resident Evil 3, the gunpowder's always there. But if they cycle it into their, like, hard mode system, or where, like, the game, like, feels how you play and it adapts to that, it makes itself harder, apparently. That's what Resident Evil 2 is doing. They might throw less gunpowder at you. You know, like, they can do stuff like that to integrate it with their new system that goes with taking elements of the game, making it harder, taking things away from you. Because with Resident Evil 3, we always know where the gunpowder is. We know where every item is. You know, we just go to there.
Yeah.
We know when, but it cycles too, because you have the random cycles where you'll run. Sometimes the gunpowder won't be there, and then it will be there. Then it won't be there. You know, there's sometimes when you play the game, and there's cycles. There's about a couple different cycles that rotate in 3 where the gunpowder is there, or there's a, you know, two 2 yellow or 3 red, or the red and a yellow, stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. I agree. I think it would be cool to have the game shift itself in response to how well you're doing.
Apparently, that's what they're doing with 2, and that's going to be a cool way. I mean, I'm sure there'll be a set difficulty. Maybe there won't be.
Well, it's kind of like arrange mode, but
yeah.
But like instead of picking it at the beginning, it's like changing on its own.
That's another feature they can add too. Arrange mode.
Mm-hmm.
That would be pretty dope. Yeah, I mean the ammo crafting is it's a main staple, and we definitely want to see it return. 100%. It's so important.
Yeah.
And we want the puzzles to also return. Of course, we gotta, we can't talk about puzzles. We can't talk about puzzles without the water sample puzzle, because that is the main one that pissed everyone off, and I'm sure they would have to do some master trolling with this one if they wanted to, because they could.
That might be the hardest Resident Evil puzzle.
Yeah, just constantly looking at ways to write down and get the sample out of the damn machine.
Well, I can't think of any other puzzle that like forced me to
Boo doo doo boo doo doo.
Now you're just like triggering my traumatic memories. Yeah, like maybe like a puzzle in Code Veronica, something, but like most Resident Evil games, the puzzles are fairly straightforward, and that water sample puzzle was so, frustrating. So hopefully they don't troll us too bad with this remake.
Hopefully I had to go with the way that they go to Code Veronica. I always say that Code Veronica, they want to make a remake of Code Veronica, that's fine. But the people,
Okay.
the people,
Yeah.
the people.
Mm.
No idea where I was going with that. Completely made it up.
Why you do this to me?
I just like trolling you. Anyway, but I think Capcom it's going into this phase where they're gaining the money to do different projects, and they're bringing back stuff like Devil May Cry, like we talked about, and they're finding that they even said that they're going to look into remaking stuff as a main source of income and for successful projects, because it's they know they can do them if they have the right team.
Mm-hmm.
So that's really important. It's important to have the right team, and that the wait was 100% worth it. And if this whole project cycle topples over into Resident Evil 3, which it already is, if it's already in production, then I'm really excited. Really, really excited for this.
Agreed. It might even be better than the RE2 remake.
Oh!
Trigger.
Don't say that. Don't say that. Do you think this will, I had to kind of cut back on my my hatred for Code Veronica, but what do you think of a future remake of Code Veronica being on the horizon?
I would love to see a remake of Code Veronica. I would love it, because the original game is so damn difficult. I just want to see it updated with good voice acting, good graphics. Just make it better. I know I'm triggering all the Code Veronica fans right now, but like, it's a good game. I like it, but I like it a lot more now than how I used to. But I do think that's a game that would benefit from a remake, especially because Code Veronica never seems to get too much attention. It got that HD port.
Yeah.
Back in 2011, and then
on 360 and PS3.
Yeah. And they, it was a completely different lighting system too. They made the game darker. So I would like to see like a good from the ground up remake of Code Veronica. How would you feel if I said Code Veronica was better than Nemesis? Would that trigger you?
Don't say that on the show. No, I mean, hey man, if it's your opinion, get the fuck off. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Get lost.
Kindly get lost.
Do you like Dead Aim more than Code Veronica?
No. Yes, I do. No, I'm kidding. Dead Aim's still painful. Dead Aim is painful. Like, do you remember like how his neck looks in certain cutscenes?
Yeah.
I can't take that seriously.
Well, I mean,
But Code Veronica is still genuinely a solid game because it does have Dreamcast graphics, which look incredible.
it plays
And
like an actual
it plays
Resident Evil.
smooth, and it does have Claire and Chris in it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's hard
Steve.
though.
Steve's
And Steve.
beautiful voice.
Steve's beautiful's voice, and
There's one other character in another video game who just might match Steve in terms of voice acting.
really,
Yeah. And I'd like to do a video on this game. Maybe a review or something. But have you ever played Spider-Man Web of Shadows?
I have.
So when you revisit that game, maybe you'll look it up after this, or maybe you'll wait for my video. Just listen to his voice and tell me if it's not on the same quality as Steve's voice acting from Code Veronica. Because
Man,
it's pretty damn similar.
it's similar. Wow,
It's a different voice actor, but it's
on
and
the
this is
same
a-
level of bad.
on the same level of bad. And this is a Spider-Man game.
Damn it!
So that game is rare too. It's hard to find.
Is it?
Yeah, because they took it out of the digital stores, and they
Spider-Man,
never sold that many copies. So
Web of
like now copies go for $100 online.
Are you fucking serious, dude?
Yeah, like this Spider-Man game, and it's one of the worst voice acting I've ever heard. Like that's a game that we should like. That's a game that we're gonna do a let's play on. I'm serious. Like
We got to do another LP on the PS1.
we'll get
PlayStation.
some drinks and we'll play some funny games and record.
Sounds like a plan.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. So, but yeah, so that's everything with the Resident Evil 3 remake. Speculation, expectations, what we hope for, what we wish could turn into a perfect ending of a trilogy remade, including the original remake, unless they go back and do that. What would be your opinion on that? Like, what if they did that? Just to throw that question out there, because I was curious. I don't know if I've asked you this, or if we might have touched on this at one point.
We might have, but at this point we just forget. To me, Remake is my favorite Resident Evil game.
Mhm.
So I just think like it's perfect the way it is, like the way it looks.
Yeah, it's just it fits.
It's a perfect atmosphere, perfect character designs, perfect creatures to fight, perfect puzzles. That is a good game. Like it's a really good. So for them to go back and remake that, like the only reason I would see them doing that is to change the camera angle and make it over the shoulder,
Yeah,
because I wouldn't want them to redesign the mansion again for a third time. Like I think like the way they did it in Remake is just Remake 1. It's just perfect. Like
yeah, it's just perfect. Just
like the mansion, the lighting, the woods
Let it be.
outside, the cemetery, the cabin in the woods, like the labs, the aqua ring. It's just good the way it is. But I mean, if they were to do it, they would. It's like I don't know. Like
you wouldn't be opposed to it.
I'd rather see something else because they just remastered. Like if they were gonna like make it over the shoulder, they should have done that 2 years ago when they or 3 years ago when they remastered it, but they didn't. So I think at this point it's a little too soon, and that game still looks beautiful on the current gen systems. So I'd rather see a Code Veronica remake, or it's just something that we haven't really seen in a while. 10 years down the line, go for it. But right now, nah.
Yeah. Just wait a little bit and do Code Veronica, or just go back to 8, whatever you want to do after 3, or give us Dino Crisis. Do something. Whatever Capcom's future endeavors hold, who knows? Because, like I said, Devil May Cry is pretty much done. Resident Evil 2 is done. They're working on this one now. So it's, if this leak it does have some weight to it. So we'll see if there's any more news. We'll report back to you guys as soon as something breaks, and we'll do another show about it. But
Definitely.
thanks again for joining me, Richard, on this Resident Evil 3 discussion.
Thanks for having me.
It was good talking. We will do the Resident Evil 3 podcast talking about the game and everything we like about it, just like we did with the first game, then the second game, because we did the Origins podcast. We did the Resident Evil 2 podcast about a year or so ago. And then Now we're going to be going into the Resident Evil 3. That's still in production. No. We're going to record it soon, and it's going to be pretty fun. We also have to do a final chapter commentary.
Should I order, should I go out and buy the movie? Is this a movie worth owning in a so bad it's good kind of way?
Oh, I wish I had.
Because I've avoided this movie for 2 years now.
I might have a digital code I can give you.
Oh, if you have the digital code, then
I might.
Yeah, because I like adding movies and TV shows to iTunes.
I know you do. You fuck.
It's just it's comfortable watching stuff in bed. It's just.
Okay, so scratch that. I actually don't own it.
Oh, you don't?
I don't. I actually own every one but that because I wanted to get the 4K, and I never did. But I can just send you a file digitally through Google Drive. It's easy, and it's you don't got to go on some weird website. I have the file on my hard drive.
How much does it go for on Amazon? It's $15.
Resident Evil: The Final Chapter. You could probably just rent it on the Xbox store.
True. Yeah.
Xbox, you can actually rent movies, but I don't know if that one is going to be one of them.
It's $45 for the complete collection. Get all 6 of them. They're selling a 3-pack with the animated movies.
For $49.82.
$30. What do you mean $49.82?
I'm reading my prices.
That's strange. For once, Canadian is cheaper.
Yeah, that's actually interesting.
Damnation. I see it.
But yeah, we're gonna do that though. We can. I mean,
yeah. Would you want to do a commentary on Final Chapter or do a commentary on
the first movie?
The first movie, second movie, third movie.
I was thinking what if we did it backwards?
Get the really stupid ones out of the way first.
Yeah.
It's they get more competent. They get more competent as you go backwards.
That's actually kind of funny though.
Well, that first movie is fairly serious from what I remember.
I mean, yeah, man, it's not bad. It's not bad at all.
You got some early 2000s cheese going on with the rock music and the early CGI. But other than that, it was pretty serious. But then you watch these stupid new ones. I remember watching Retribution in the theater. And
Retribution, that's the one I always forget. It's the middle one I kind of forget a little bit, yeah. I mean, I haven't seen it in a while. I think that's on 4K. Because that was right after Afterlife, right? There was Afterlife, Retribution.
It was 2 years after Afterlife.
Oh, yeah. Because of that fucking
No, that was Final Chapter.
pregnancy. Was it?
Yeah, Final Chapter was
Then I got my timeline messed up then. But yeah.
I was watching Retribution when it was in theaters, and I remember having to hold in my laughter inside the theater because there's a part where I think it's Jill, she punches Alice in the chest, and the noise that Alice makes is it's it's slow-mo and that was yeah.
Well, I mean, did you know that they have another director? They announced a director.
For the reboot?
Yeah.
I heard they were going to make it more like Resident Evil 7.
Yeah, apparently.
Yeah. Who's the director?
The guy who did 47 Meters Down.
I don't know that movie.
Neither do I.
47 Meters Down. 27. Oh my God. It's I don't know anything about this movie, but I'm looking at the poster and it looks like a cheap shark movie.
Okay.
And then there's a sequel, 47 Meters Down, Uncaged.
Uh-oh. It's Uncaged.
I mean, it has a 52 on Metacritic, so it was mixed down the board. But I've never heard of Johannes Roberts.
You never heard of it? You never heard of his work?
So hopefully he can do a good job.
Have you heard of his work before?
I've seen pictures from the Monster Hunter movie. It's coming out.
God, that looks so bad, dude. That looks so fucking bad.
It has to be
Brandon
a
is so pissed off, dude. He's mad.
Oh yeah, does he like
He's
the
like,
games?
bro, yeah. He's like, bro, they're fucking it up.
Well, now he knows how we feel.
I was like, listen, now you know.
It's like we had to deal with that for like 15 years. 17 years. 17, wow.
That was a long franchise. And now they're just trying to reboot. Who knows, though, because this film might just go back into development hell. Who knows?
Well, they're going to do the same with Monster Hunter. It's going to make like, it's going to make $10 over here, and it's going to make like 200 million in China. And they're going to keep making them. Because all the Chinese people are going to go out and see these Monster Hunter movies.
What the fuck?
Not even joking. That's what happens. Like, they make these shitty movies, and then they get most of their money from, like,
The foreign countries,
foreign box offices. But, like, nobody in Canada or America goes to see them.
That's so funny. Is there a way that they can even like make it without having 7? Like, don't make it with the family, and like don't do it.
Probably not, because this 7 is the most current one, so that's probably why they're going after it. It also resembles Texas Chainsaw Massacre, which is another like well-known and well-loved horror movie, so they're probably trying to emulate that.
Yeah, buddy.
I wish they would just go back to like the classic, the first story, Wesker, Jill, Chris.
Wesker? Jill?
Mansion. No, it's all about the family now.
Yeah, man. Bring it to the fucking mansion.
Welcome to the family.
Welcome to the family, son. It's like, all right, this guy's chasing you around in his fucking underwear. This is Resident Evil.
It's gonna happen. In
Yeah.
The movie.
God damn Hollywood. Don't ruin it again.
And it's gonna look yellow.
Don't put us through the torture.
The entire
Again.
Entire movie's gonna have like a yellow filter to it.
Yellow filter. Ugh. Disgusting. Disgusting. And then it's going to have like him like taking the wheel while the guy's trying to drive, and they're in the garage and he's doing donuts. Yeah. Oh, yeah. This is survival horror, baby.
It's just going around in circles for the whole movie.
Welcome to the family, son. He's on the fucking windshield and stuff.
It's like you see Vin Diesel like come out of the family.
Family. And then The Rock comes out. He's all serious.
Yeah, Michelle Rodriguez. She
And then
comes
Evelyn
back.
comes out and infects them both. Come on, it's about to happen.
yeah,
Believe it.
That's pretty stupid.
But anyway, that's going to conclude this episode of the show. Thanks again, everyone, for listening. And stay tuned, because we got a lot of good content coming, a lot of surprises coming your guys' way from different stuff, from different channel ideas, from different forms of content. There's a lot of stuff coming. So stay on the lookout, because we have Resident Evil 2 stuff coming in next month once we, again, do the review, do a podcast discussion. Again, we're going to get Perry on the next episode of the show as well, and to get his spin on some of the stuff RE2 and RE3 related, because he hasn't been on the show in a little bit. So we've been trying to record it. Every time I went over there to visit, we were just busy with other stuff. We were doing our other forms of live streaming, and we just couldn't have time and everything. And he runs the store, so we are finally going to be able to commit to an episode and do it, and it's going to be awesome. But yeah, we'll probably do a commentary track or something else. So we'll figure it out. We'll keep you guys updated. Different forms of consistent content. We talked about doing commentaries on all the films for a long time. We never did them.
Yeah, we're gonna do them backwards.
We'll do them backwards.
Yeah.
Because the best part about Final Chapter, and I'm gonna send you the file, is that it's it's the worst one.
Yeah, like the absolute like in
Yes.
terms of
Yes.
funniness or
Like
is it
yes, both, dude. I don't
okay?
know, but listen,
So it's the funny.
listen. All right, we'll talk about more about this off the air, but
Sure.
it's bad. Anybody that's seen Final Chapter out there, you know what I'm talking about. I don't even think I have to say anything. This is the most disjointed Resident Evil film that I seriously couldn't.
It looked like more of a Mad Max film than anything else from the trailers. Am I right to assume that?
Not, I mean,
Is it like a Fury Road ripoff?
not really. I mean, it's not. It's probably ripping off other things simultaneously together, but with other shit that they're just throwing on the screen for whatever reason. Everything's happening so fucking fast, and they just like wrap it up. It's like they just like closed it and rushed it. It was like, and it was fast paced, but I didn't know exactly. It looks good in 4K. It looks great. Because my one friend brought it over and we were watching it, and I was like, "Oh, this actually looks really nice." Because it looks beautiful. It's shot with these nice Sony cameras in 4K.
That's something,
and that's the one thing I love about
the.
Yeah, agreed.
Like they all look really good.
Yeah, absolutely. If you have these on, even if you just have them on Blu-ray, they look crisp.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so from that, they used to shoot it on film. I remember Resident Evil. I think Resident Evil Extinction might have been the last one they actually used film for, because I remember seeing that in the Acro Multiplex, and they used to show film there all the time. They didn't have the digital. Well, they had some digital. A lot of it was still the film reel. So, and I remember there was I went to like a birthday party and it was at this place that also showed movies, or it was the Funplex in somewhere in Jersey. I forget exactly where it is. But they had the film reels. They showed us the movies they got a couple weeks early. They had got them in. And I remember seeing Resident Evil Apocalypse on the shelf, and I was thinking, oh, that's cool. And because it was shot on film. So it's kind of weird that if we go backwards, it's going to be you're going from like digital all the way back to like the first two or first three where it's like still film. Maybe the third one is digital, but 1 and 2 definitely has that film quality.
Yeah.
It was on VHS, and it has that like VHS aesthetic to it.
You can like definitely tell there's a difference somewhere like in the middle of that series, like from when they switched over to film to, because like Resident Evil Apocalypse is very early 2000s. It just looks different, like that in the first movie. Even
And it's got the metal soundtrack. It's got Slipknot, Kill Switch.
Yeah, like it all
Typo
feels,
Negative.
and like she's there's a lot of wire tricks in those first two movies.
Yeah.
So like it in that sense, it's even more dated, along with the cheap CGI.
At the time, that was normal.
Yeah, but today it looks cheap.
Yeah, it's still cheesy. That's going to be fun, though.
It felt like more serious too. Like I remember watching Apocalypse as a kid, and when the reporter gets mobbed by zombies, or when they're like walking through the school, like it felt like it was actually trying to be a horror movie.
And it was, and he didn't. Paul Anderson didn't direct that one.
No, he did the first one and 4 and then onwards, but it's
So
1 and 2.
this
were,
director
like,
maybe had more of like a horror vision.
yeah, like they were more like horror. They had action moments, but they also had horror horror moments. And it's just so weird because then you watch like Retribution, and like people are like fighting each other kung fu slow-mo with Mortal Kombat X-ray finishers, and Alice going,
Oh, dude, it gets worse. It gets worse.
Okay.
It gets worse.
I think from what you're describing, Final Chapter will be the best one. It's taken you 2 years.
Oh, yeah. You guys will hear the commentary track.
It's taken you 2 years to convince me to watch it, but
It's already been 2 years. That's crazy. It's crazy to think that. Time goes by fast. But yeah, so yeah, that's going to be it. So stay tuned for that, guys. And we'll catch you guys in the next one.
bye, guys.
Bye-bye.
All Raccoon City, due to citywide outbreak of a dangerous virus, all citizens head to the safe house at the Raccoon City Police Department. It's the last remaining safe zone in the area. Our sources have confirmed the existence of an antidote to the virus being held at the Raccoon City Police Department. So if you're out there hearing this, please get down there. Hurry. You got it? Put it out. Let's get...